Yesterday we had Nick Wright on, and he's one of our favorites. He's a co-host of First Things First, and he used to live in Houston, and we somehow got around to barbecue because he loves the Kansas City Chiefs, and he talked about Houston barbecue is not very good.
Come to Kansas City for the barbecue, JJ. Stay for the championships. That would be my recommendation.
Well, you have lived in Houston, so you are.
Yeah, I lived there for 4 years and ate what they listen, Houston folks. I understand it's been tough times. I empathize with you immensely. But Texas barbecue is fraudulent and it's not like bad compared to its reputation. It's bad compared to food. It's just not good.
That's Nick Wright yesterday. So Paulie goes, I got somebody who's going to help us here. He's the barbecue editor of Texas Monthly Magazine, Daniel Vaughn, joining us now, and the author of The Prophets of Smoked Meat, A Journey Through Texas Barbecue, co-author of Whole Hog Barbecue. He's sampled over 1,800 barbecue joints, most of which are in Texas, and Daniel kind enough to join us. Daniel, your reaction to Nick Wright calling Texas barbecue fraudulent?
Oh, man, I heard it yesterday. You just played it for me now. Like, I feel personally attacked. I mean, fraudulent. Like, is it fraudulent because, like, in Texas and Houston and Austin and Dallas, Fort Worth, wherever you are, we cook with wood instead of cooking with gas like most of the big names in Kansas City? Is that what's fraudulent about Texas barbecue? I can't even wrap my head around it.
Okay, Kansas City gets credit for maybe the best barbecue. First of all, explain what Kansas City barbecue is, and does Kansas City deserve that high of a ranking?
Well, what high of a ranking? I mean, I don't put it anywhere like as a high ranking.
Okay.
I mean, to me, obviously, Texas barbecue is number one. And so then from there, I'd say you go to North Carolina, South Carolina, the whole hog barbecue over there. Like, that's better than anything you're going to get in Kansas City. Now, Kansas City, they got a lot of options, right? They got, much like Texas barbecue, they actually have some similarities. You get your brisket, your pork, get your pork ribs, some sausage. You get all those things, right, in both Texas and Kansas City. It's just that in Texas is the one place where you can get a good version of sliced brisket. I mean, in Kansas City, it's so tough. They got to slice it with a deli slicer before they put it on your tray. I mean, in Kansas City, they argue about barbecue sauce. They don't argue about which place has the best meat. They talk about which place has the best sauce. People who are ordering from Kansas City barbecue joints are ordering sauce to be delivered to their house, not the barbecue.
Well, that's what I wondered about, what you put on the ribs, or do you put nothing on the ribs?
Well, in Texas, I mean, most barbecue here is served with sauce on the side. Everybody serves barbecue sauce, but we don't try to cover it up like Kansas City, right? We don't want to cover up the meat. We want the sauce to be on the side so the meat can stand on its own, because generally the meat can stand on its own, which is not the case in Kansas City. What
about Memphis barbecue, Daniel?
I mean, Memphis barbecue is good, but much like Kansas City, it's like, Texas barbecue, for example. I just got a photo from Kyrgyzstan sent to me this morning of a barbecue joint in Kyrgyzstan doing Texas-style barbecue. Like, last week they were standing in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. They're standing in line for Texas barbecue. And it's like Kansas City and Memphis, they can't even get beyond their own city limits.
Seton, you had a question for Daniel?
Well, yeah, I just think it's interesting that we keep saying like Memphis barbecue versus Texas barbecue, or Kansas City barbecue versus Texas barbecue. Whereas you're taking like a population of 30 million people and then comparing it to a population of 500,000 people and being like, yeah, we're better.
Okay, how about we do a city there, Daniel?
All right, so
you pick the city.
All right, so I mean, Austin, Houston, Fort Worth, all cities with better barbecue than any other city in America.
If I was coming to Texas for a week, what city would I go to for the best barbecue?
Whew, man. Well, I mean, for the all-time best barbecue, I mean, we do a top 50 barbecue list every 4 years at Texas Monthly, and Snow's Barbecue's at the top, and they're right outside of Austin. Franklin Barbecue's right there. They're right in Austin. So I'd have to say Austin is the best place as far as, like, getting the biggest bang for your buck.
What makes Snow's the best?
Just the fact that they do everything well. Like you can usually tell somebody when they're going to a barbecue joint, like which thing to order that's really going to wow you. And it snows. It's like you can't break it down like that. It's like everything is going to wow you. Like everything is spectacular. And then, of course, when you go, you get to see one of the most famous Texas pitmasters, Tootsie Tominetz, who's 85 years old now, will be 86 this year, doing her thing at Snow's Barbecue. So that's part of what makes it special, too.
Should you avoid the sides because you need to focus on the meat?
Yeah. I mean, sides, bread, like all those things. Like pickles are medicinal. Like pickles are going to help you eat more. But all that other stuff, like, I mean, if you're going for like just a big time barbecue tour in Texas, yeah, you want to stay away from all the sides.
Is there good barbecue in the north?
Well, I mean, Hometown Barbecue in Brooklyn, they do a fantastic job. So I've got to say yes. And I will say, too, like there is good barbecue in Kansas City. There's a guy, Tyler Harp. He runs Harp Barbecue there. And actually, he was so mad about an article that I wrote about Kansas City barbecue that said some unkind things about it, that he came to Texas with his dad. He was mad. He's like, I'm going to prove this guy wrong. And he goes to Austin, eats the barbecue, eats at several different places, goes back home to Kansas City, and realizes that his life's mission now is to bring Texas barbecue to people in Kansas City. So if you do want good brisket in Kansas City, there is the one place. It's Harp Barbecue, and it's because they're cooking Texas-style barbecue.
What about Los Angeles?
Los Angeles. Let's see. Horn Barbecue. Well, that's not Los Angeles. That's in Oakland. That's certainly high on my list of places to go visit. I mean, I haven't had anything that like truly wowed me there, but then Moo's Craft Barbecue in Los Angeles is a place that I haven't been able to visit yet. So there is some good barbecue out there, but of course it's going to be probably Texas style.
Daniel, thanks for joining us. I love you're fired up, and I'll make sure that Nick Wright hears what you had to say.
All right, I appreciate that. Thank you.
That's Daniel Vaughn, the barbecue editor of Texas Monthly Magazine.
Wow.
He has sampled smoked meats at over 1,800 barbecue joints, most of which are in Texas. How about the fact that he wrote a book called The Prophets of Smoked Meat, A Journey Through Texas Barbecue? He co-authored a book, The Whole Hog Barbecue, The Gospel of Carolina Barbecue.